Hello, cocktail lovers! I'm Miroslava, sommelier and wine educator, your guide on this journey through the world of wines, spirits and cocktails. Today our hero is Pisco. Pisco is a type of brandy produced by both Chile and Peru and the subject of international disagreements between these two countries. In South America, viniculture began with Spanish colonists and their grapes coming to the continent in the mid-16th century. That part of the world boasts numerous regions conducive to winemaking, so with the experience brought by many colonists, winemaking began to prosper. Wine production in Peru quickly reached such a scale that it began exporting wines back to Spain, causing protests from Spanish wine sellers and attempts by the crown to halt the exports. Imported brandy from Spain was prohibitively expensive, and only a few could afford it. However, the desire for spirits persisted. Consequently, by the end of the 16th century, Peru began producing its own brandy, known as pisco. The term pisco originates from the Quechua language, where it means bird. However, its connection to the drink's name is not entirely clear. It is highly likely that it's derived from the town of Pisco, situated along the Pisco River in the Pisco Valley. During that era, Pisco was the largest Peruvian port and the hub for all Peruvian overseas trade, including alcohol. Hence, the name of the drink may have been derived from the town's name. Another theory suggests that the drink was named after piscos, clay vessels used by indigenous people for their traditional corn brew, which were initially utilized for storing pisco. Initially, pisco was primarily used for fortifying wine, but later gained popularity as a standalone drink. In the 19th century, Chileans got an opportunity to taste and appreciate Peruvian pisco. They began buying it extensively and then, of course, started producing their own version of the spirit. Chilean spirit was under the same name, very similar but not identical. Since then, both countries have engaged in a long-standing dispute. Chile insists that pisco is the national spirit of Chile, while Peru stands for pisco being the national spirit of Peru. What is pisco, how it is made, and what is the difference between Peruvian and Chilean pisco? Pisco is a type of brandy made by distilling grape wine. Unlike other well-known brandies, such as cognac, armagnac and Jerez brandy, which all require maturation in oak barrels, pisco can skip this step. In fact, for Peruvian pisco, this step is prohibited by law. This makes pisco a relatively young brandy. The difference in production methods stems from the characteristics of grape used. For instance, cognac is made from wine with very high acidity, making it almost undrinkable immediately after distillation. Therefore, extensive aging in oak barrels is necessary to balance and smooth cognac. In contrast, pisco is made from grapes with low acidity and higher sugar content, resulting in a smooth and aromatic product without the need for prolonged aging. Peruvian pisco. Pisco falls under the category of denomination of origin and can only be produced in 5 seaside regions of Peru: Ica, Lima, Arequipa, Moquegua, and Tacna. These regions have a climate conducive for grape cultivation, and the grapes grown there accumulate higher sugar content during ripening. Currently, only 8 grape varieties of Spanish origin are permitted for pisco production. These include 4 non-aromatic varieties: Quebranta, Negra Criolla, Uvina, and Malar, as well as 4 aromatic varieties: Muscatel, Tarantel, Italia, and Albilla. Among these, Quebranta grape accounts for 80% of all pisco production. While some of these varieties are red, some white, the wine used for making pisco is produced using white wine technology only. Grapes are pressed immediately after harvest without the inclusion of skins and seeds. The high concentration of grape sugar is crucial for Peruvian pisco production. According to the law, pisca can only be distilled once in a copper pot, and the resulting spirit must have an alcohol content of 38 to 48%. There is no allowance to dilution with water, so the distillation process must yield a product with the desired alcohol content and flavor profile from the outset. Following distillation, Peruvian pisca must be aged for a minimum of 3 months in neutral vessels, such as glass, stainless steel, or clay. Many top producers opt to extend this aging period for 1 year, which helps to soften and balance the flavor profile of a pisca. No additives that could alter the taste are permitted to be added to pisca, ensuring the purity and authenticity of the final product. There are 4 main types of Peruvian pisca. Pura. This is the most popular type in Peru, made from a single non-aromatic grape variety, typically Quebranta. The wine used for distillation must be completely dry. Aromaticas. Similar to Pura, but made from aromatic grape varieties, usually Muscat. Mosta Verde. In contrast to previous types, the wine for Mosta Verde should be sweet and not completely fermented. This requires more grapes per liter, additional work, and results in a more expensive final product. Acolada. This is a blend of 2 or more piscas of the same type, such as Pura with Pura or Mosta Verde with Mosta Verde. Peru boasts around 650 distilleries, with fewer than 500 of them holding legal registration. Approximately 10 distilleries produce high-quality products in significant quantities, while another dozen operate in an intermediate scale. The remaining distilleries are small farmers' operations that produce pisca for their local communities. Chilean pisca. Chilean pisca production spans in 2 denominational origin regions, Atacama and Coquimbo. Both regions are desert regions, with Coquimbo being a higher altitude desert located on the edge of the Atacama Desert. In Coquimbo, the main grape used for pisca production, Muscat Alexandria, is gradually being replaced by the other varieties that yield some of the best wines in Chile. Coquimbo vineyards are among the highest altitude vineyards globally, reaching elevation up to 3,500 meters. Visiting some of the vineyards in Copiapa, Atacama, I was amazed of how grapes can thrive in such infertile conditions. Irrigation is a thing, but still. Chilean pisca can be produced using 14 grape varieties, with the most popular being Pais, Muscat, Tarantel, and Pedro Ximénez. The wine for Chilean pisca can be fermented using both white and red wine technologies. Distillation can be carried out once or twice, and the pot material can be copper or other. The resulting product has much higher alcohol content than of Peruvian pisca, reaching up to 80%, when it is diluted with water to achieve the desired concentration. The type of Chilean pisca is determined only by its alcohol content. Corriente or Tradicional, 30 to 35%. Especial, 35 to 40%. Reservada, 40%. Superior or Gran, 33 or higher. Unlike Peruvian pisca, Chilean pisca has the option, but not the requirement, to undergo aging in the oak barrels. Pisca that spends between 180 days to 1 year in a barrel can be classified as aged. Additional aging beyond 1 year is also possible, with some piscas aged up to 30 years. Oak barrels can be made from European or American oak, with size ranging from 225 to 500 liters. Generally, longer aging periods are associated with larger barrels. Consequently, the taste profile of Chilean pisca varies significantly based on the aging process. Non-aged or lightly aged piscas exhibit similarities with Peruvian pisca, featuring light aromas of flower and fruits. In contrast, piscas of extensive aging resemble cognac. I have here a bottle of young Chilean pisca, specifically Capel Pisca Premium Reservada, from the Elqui Valley in Coquimbo region. This pisca comes of a vineyard situated at the altitude of 2000 meters. It's made primarily from 30% Muscat blended with 70% Pedro Jimenez and Tarantelle, double distillation, 40% alcohol by volume, from 4 to 6 months in neutral oak. Very soft, very gentle, aromas of fruit and herbs, some note of black pepper. Peru produces approximately 10 million liters of pisco each year and exports over 30% of it. Chile produces 3 times more pisco than Peru, but exports only half as much. Obviously, Chileans have a fondness for pisco, consuming annually an average of 3 liters per person, counting minors. The USA ranks as the second largest importer of Peruvian pisco after Chile. Leading brands on the US market are Pisco Pardon and Machu Pisco. Chilean pisco also maintains a presence in the US. Both the USA and the EU, which import pisco from both countries, recognize products from Peru and Chile as an authentic pisco. Pisco can be enjoyed on its own or as an ingredient of various cocktails. Pure pisco is better to be served in cognac glasses and room temperature. Warmth of your hands helps to open the aroma of drink. About pisco sour, the most popular pisco-based cocktail, I will talk in the next episode. Stay tuned for more. Subscribe to my channel. Salud!